wanted the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight. When all the stars they collide, now the future looks bright, 'cause we want the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight.
Always knew we'd be better when we're together, right? Like we could conquer the world, even just for a night. I still remember the time and place when the vision came. From that day on, we've been elevated, ain't been the same. It's like we took what we wanted and didn't ask for it. Let it go, no concern for the past or if we were taking our only shot. Now fast forward, look what we built, now we bigger, better, and that's cars.
We want the best of the best of the best, that feeling our heart beating out of our chest. 'Cause this is the life, every night we want it all.
Yeah, we want it all.
We're not afraid of dreaming big. We're not afraid to bring the fight. Wanted the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight. When all the stars they collide, now the future looks bright. 'Cause we want the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight.
We had a dream that couldn't be left alone. The writing was on the walls, but wasn't set in stone. We had a ways to go, but yeah, we carved it out. No looking back, only forward, the future's starting now. It's like we took what we wanted and didn't ask for it. Let it go, no concern for the past or if we were taking our only shot. Now fast forward, look what we built, now we bigger, better, and that's cars.
We want the best of the best of the best, that feeling our heart beating out of our chest. 'Cause this is the life, every night we want it all.
Yeah, we want it all.
We're not afraid of dreaming big. We're not afraid to bring the fight. Wanted the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight. When all the stars they collide, now the future looks bright. 'Cause we want the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight.
Not afraid of dreaming big. Dream big. We're not afraid to bring the fight. Bring the fight. 'Cause we want the best of both worlds. Both worlds. And it starts here tonight.
We're not afraid of dreaming big. We're not afraid to bring the fight. Wanted the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight. When all the stars they collide, now the future looks bright. 'Cause we want the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight.
Always knew we'd be better when we're together, right? Like we could conquer the world, even just for a night. I still remember the time and place when the vision came. From that day on, we've been elevated, ain't been the same. It's like we took what we wanted and didn't ask for it. Let it go, no concern for the past or if we were taking our only shot. Now fast forward, look what we built, now we bigger, better, and that's cars.
We want the best of the best of the best, that feeling our heart beating out of our chest. 'Cause this is the life, every night we want it all.
Yeah, we want it all.
We're not afraid of dreaming big. We're not afraid to bring the fight. Wanted the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight. When all the stars they collide, now the future looks bright. 'Cause we want the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight.
We had a dream that couldn't be left alone. The writing was on the walls, but wasn't set in stone. We had a ways to go, but yeah, we carved it out. No looking back, only forward, the future's starting now. It's like we took what we wanted and didn't ask for it. Let it go, no concern for the past or if we were taking our only shot. Now fast forward, look what we built, now we bigger, better, and that's cars.
We want the best of the best of the best.
Oh, are we? Hello, viewers. That was professional. Look at that. It's a limp microphone. What a great start. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kevin Boris. This is Nick Draper on this side of the fence. It's not an actual fence. Welcome to the Don's Trust Board election hustings for 2019. As you may remember, we did them last year. To some success, I think. It went well.
People seem to enjoy them.
People enjoyed it. There was no official complaints.
Zero
So
official
I think to
complaints.
me that's a success.
That is, for us, yes.
So over the next, this is worrying, over the next 5 hours, we'll be here, probably for longer than that, interviewing the 8 candidates. We're doing 4 each. This year there are 8 candidates for 5 places,
Yes.
2 of which are standing or already board members.
Restanding, I suppose.
Restanding.
Yes.
Should
Is
we
that
use that phrase? Restanding?
Re-standing?
Mark, what do you reckon? Restanding?
Yeah.
Yeah, restanding a candidate. We'll go for that. And then 6 new candidates, one of whom has already been on the board in a previous guise.
Yes.
So,
Board.
Board. I said board.
Board.
No, I don't think I said board.
Okay.
I think you're listening in German. It's fine. So, Nick, what are you looking forward to today?
What am I looking forward to? So we have, as you say, we've got the 8 candidates being interviewed.
Yep.
So we have to make a few things clear to the viewing public before.
Oh,
they
go, housekeeping.
Yes. It's a bit of housekeeping notes.
Turn your phones off. Oh, that's not right. That's
No,
for
not,
gigs,
that's
isn't
for,
it?
yeah, some cinema and stuff.
Yep.
So I'm going to speak to the camera at this point. It's kind of awkward.
Yeah, no, guys, go for it.
So we have 8 candidates for 5 vacancies on the board. Postal ballots some have already been sent out. The rest, if they've not arrived yet, should be with you on Monday. Email, electronic voting slips and ballot papers will be emailed out today and tomorrow, so you should have those after the hustings have concluded. You are only to vote for a maximum of 5 people. You can vote for one person, just one person if you want to, on any number up to 5. But if you vote for more than 5, then that will render your vote invalid, I'm afraid. Voting closes at 2:45 p.m. on Saturday the 23rd of November, which is when we're at home to Gillingham.
Yep, it is.
And then the result will be announced as soon as possible after that, but it'll be formally announced on the 9th of December, Monday the 9th of December, at the Dons Trust AGM.
Yep.
And I think, Kevin, that is all I have to say.
I think you have, but we should... We should point out, though, it's not just us here. Mark Hendricks is here on technical duties. Mark, thank you for giving up your time again.
Well, more than welcome, thank you.
And on the questions this year, last year we had Stuart Deakins and George Jones. This year we just have George Jones. Stuart is unfortunately ill, but he is well enough to be playing FIFA 20 and sending us pictures of himself playing. So
it's not like Stu to be playing FIFA.
It's extraordinary.
But Stu, get well soon. We hope to see you back soon, and thank you so much for leaving us in the capable hands of George.
Exactly.
George, do you want to give him a quick wave, George? Give him a quick wave.
There's George. There's George
George.
waving.
It's
Seated to my right.
What's that Channel 5 show with Matthew Wright in the mornings where they have that girl that's just off the camera?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But can we also mention, we should move on. We've got the first candidate is Tim Hilly. However, we should mention that the under-18s yesterday won 10-0.
Is this against Leighton?
Against Leighton Orient.
It's always Leighton Orient.
So well done to the under-18s play Leighton Orient every week, and the ladies play Actonians every week. It seems to be. So well done to the under-18s. Obviously, we're still celebrating our last-minute goal yesterday against Lincoln. So please stay with us for the next 5 hours. Well, however, if you can't stay with us for the next 5 hours, what you can do, of course, is in the fullness of time, very shortly, you'll be able to see all the individual candidate videos. So
Yes.
Mark will be working tirelessly over the next couple of days. And you'll see all the individual candidate videos. Now,
Adding to the man flu that I've got right now.
Yes, Mark does have man flu. However, it is worth saying that do watch every single one if you can, because last year, if you look at the results of last year in terms of votes, it exactly mirrored the amount of views each candidate got. So it is really important. We do realise that some people... Yeah, everyone stands a chance. If it's not just up to this, of course, and it's not just about social media, it's not just about presence, but this is a good way of finding out whether your candidate or your preferred candidate performs well in front of an audience of people. If you're going to represent 3,000 odd people, you kind of need to be able to do that.
Of a League One football club.
Of a League One football club. If we're playing the likes of Sunderland and Portsmouth in the league, which is still a bizarre thing to concept to...
Even bigger clubs we've been playing recently, like Luton, for example.
Like Luton. Yes,
we need to
wrap up.
move on. But
anyway,
we have to say, viewers, don't forget, you can ask questions to
Yes.
the candidates live via YouTube. George will read them out for us. We're not sure we'll be able to read all of them, but obviously if you don't ask, we can't ask. So if you want to put in the comment section on YouTube, and we will ask them much as we possibly can.
Send in your questions and we will fix it. Oh no, we can't say that, can we?
Okay, perfect.
Anyway, so let's have a short break and then we'll have our first candidate.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Hello, viewers. Welcome back after that very short break. Nick has moved away and has been replaced by our first candidate. It's Tim Hillier. Hi, Tim.
Good morning, Kevin.
Well, good day to you. Thank you for coming. Obviously, it's you were a candidate. Well, you were a board member for 2 years before this. So we're going to talk about past and future stuff, and you kind of know what to expect. But it's not a grilling. I'm not going to be Jeremy Paxman. More kind of Jeremy Corbyn, I think. Maybe we'll see.
My preparation has gone to waste.
True. Okay, so it's Tim Hillier, as you all know. What we've done, we've kind of relaxed the candidates a bit. We're trying a bit. We've come up with anagrams of everyone's names. Yours is quite nice. It's Till I Rhyme.
That's good.
That's quite nice and poetic,
I
isn't it?
quite like that.
Yeah. Some of them are not so nice. So you've come up very well there. So we know who Tim's name is. What do you do as a day job, Tim?
I'm finance director of a charity where we have a beautiful building that we open to the public for a major exhibition every year. And for the rest of the year, we host events like weddings, retirement parties and the like.
Do you want to name it? You can.
It is 2 Temple Place. And I'd encourage everyone to come and visit us between January and April next year when we have our next exhibition.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So, how long have you been a Wimbledon supporter?
It's far too long to think back. 55 years.
55 years, wow. So you've seen us play in about 14 different divisions then, or 15 probably,
Yeah.
at least.
14, definitely.
So, next question, this is an important question. Where do you watch games from?
From the main stand. I used to come down to Kings Meadow when Wimbledon FC reserves played here, so I knew where the best row is in the full strength stand.
Of course.
Which is row D. It's slightly deeper, so there's more legroom.
Aha, perfect. So I'm sure I don't need legroom. And then the good question is, Mark's holding something up. I can't read that, Mark.
No, sorry.
It's
Don't-
far too-
Don't
it's-
hit the table.
Oh no, I won't
the
hit the table.
camera's moving around.
Oh, I apologise. So if any viewers are feeling seasick or motion sickness, it's entirely my fault. But you have written very pale red pen or blue pen on white paper. Okay, but under a light. I cannot see that, Mark.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
That's quite all right, but it's good to know. And finally, the comedy question, which is Nick has inserted, is if you, Tim Hillier, were a footballer, what position would you play and why?
I always used to play left back because I wasn't very good, and that's the position where you have to do all the running.
So you were left back in the dressing room, as the joke used to go. Okay, that's a terrible joke. Okay, we'll move on from jokes. So you were on the Don's Trust board between 2016 and 2018. Can you describe for us what your roles and responsibilities were in those 2 years?
Well, the major work of the board was getting the finances together and finalising the acquisition of Plough Lane. In terms of day-to-day board business, there was a membership working group and a governance working group, and I was active on both.
Okay, thank you. So can you discuss the roles of, we're going to introduce a word, the roles of games makers at the new stadium. Well, obviously we're all excited about the new stadium. Chatting to a Lincoln fan yesterday who was kind of pleased for us at moving into a new ground because he hated this ground. He was standing outside the club shop and said, "Where's the club shop?" I think that kind of said everything. Can you describe for us your the realistic proposition, if this is a realistic proposition of the games makers, given the time constraints we've got between now and the new stadium opening, hopefully in 9 months' time?
Well, there's going to be a lot of changes because being such a much bigger facility on a higher scale, a lot of work that's currently done by volunteers will either, that work won't exist or it will be changed and into a paid position.
Yep.
But the welcome that we give visitors to our new stadium is fundamental to how they perceive us and our club.
Yep.
And that one of the most inspirational roles I've ever had was as a games maker, a team leader at the 2012 Olympics and Paralympics.
Aha.
So I was based at the Excel for most of my volunteering, and it was just a brilliant time. And, I don't think I'm going to get that opportunity again, but
Not in
I'd
the
like
Olympics.
to take the skills and experience that I developed there. The training, by the way, for that was absolutely awesome. There was a lot of preparation went into delivering such a great event and a great experience for the
Yeah.
visitors. And I'd like to bring a bit of that along, making use of the volunteer input that we have at our disposal.
So how would that work on a home game? Let's say we're playing, I'm going to use Gillingham because that's a forthcoming home game. We're playing Gillingham, first game in the new stadium. What would a games maker do?
Well, the first thing is to deploy your volunteers. So you station them a distance away. The first point of contact as people get off the bus, as people walk down from the station, to make sure people know where they're going.
Okay.
And if they want food and drink, or the club shop, whatever, that you direct them. And answer questions. So, where can I buy a ticket today? Is there a nearby pub or whatever?
Yeah.
The toilets.
Easy question to answer here, but yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, in your manifesto, you mentioned that you said it's unacceptable that we don't pay, or the club don't pay, the London living wage for all employees, contractors and suppliers. However, can we commit to paying that kind of wage, which is, I believe, £10.55 an hour, given our current financial constraints?
Incrementally, it isn't a lot of money, but in terms of how we stand within our communities, it is absolutely fundamental that we pay people the right wage for the job. And I would actually go further. There are some people who come here to earn their living, who spend ages on the bus, both directions, and we only pay them for 2 or 3 hours. They might have spent the same amount of time actually travelling here. So for certain part-time roles, I would say that we need to factor in some of the travelling time. I don't think, I've not actually done the sums, but incrementally it won't be a huge amount of money. But the message it gives out to our members, to our employees, I think is vital.
But where does that money come from? That's the main question. It's a very noble thing to do, and it'd be great if that was possible. But where does that, even if it's extra funding, even if it's a small amount of money, if we don't have that money, does it have to come off something else?
Yes. Yeah. That's why you prepare budgets, why you look at your income streams. If you have to make adjustments, save money elsewhere, that's what you do.
Okay, thank you.
And that's what I do in my current.
Yes, I was going to say that's the next question was, so that you know this because it's irrelevant to your job. So do you think that's an important part of being a John Trust board member, is bringing your professional experience, not but one's professional experience to the board?
Absolutely, and that's collectively. It's not just down to the individuals. It's the first role of the new board. We'll be doing a skills analysis, map what we need in terms of professional skills and experience, qualifications even in some cases, against who we have. And one of the key things that I don't think as a Don's Trust board over the years we've done sufficiently is we have the right to co-opt the experts. And so Ed, one of the fellow candidates, has been co-opted, bringing his financial skills. That I think we need to look wider at that and bring in people as and when we need them.
Okay, fair question. Thank you. Good answer. Again, in your manifesto, you reference the distribution of match tickets to local groups to encourage a greater diversity in our fan base. So, two-part question here. A, is that something that we do enough of? And if no, what groups should we be targeting? And how many tickets should they be getting? And two, you say that it will improve the match day experience, but what do you think of the current match day experience, and how can that be improved with that scheme?
Well, I was actually surprised, having been on the board and been active as a volunteer over all these years, to learn that we weren't working in areas like Phipps Bridge and Mitcham. And I know we've done plenty of work in the community.
Yep.
Philip Rudling leading the foundation, I'm aware of the work that he used to do in his previous role at Leighton Orient. And I was just surprised that we hadn't reached out to some of the most deprived areas in our borough and adjacent boroughs. Going back to Wimbledon will actually give us a much greater opportunity, because the new stadium is right on the border between Wandsworth and Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And we have our other neighbouring boroughs, Lambeth, Streatham and so forth. So that is a great opportunity to reach out. And there was an interesting stat that I've read recently, that in the Premier League, and I don't know if this is just English-based players or all players, but the English Football League, 14% of the players come from South London. It was
Across the whole league?
I
Wow.
think across the whole league.
Good stat.
I've got to go back to the source of the stats.
It sounds believable. Yes.
I'm relating it, and so I haven't checked it, but that sounds realistic.
Yeah.
Given that back in the days of Ryman League and the Football Conference, whenever we played teams from the South Coast and the edges of the area,
Yeah.
you're always coming across players that you were familiar with because they've played for local clubs around this area.
Yep.
And reaching out to their friends and neighbours, the community, is the way to build a club and a football club.
Yeah. Okay. But the current match day experience, is it possible to improve it here because of the restrictions we have on space, or are you looking at what we can do when moving to the new ground, where space will still be an issue, but it certainly won't be anywhere near enough as much of an issue? And of course, if you're giving away tickets to community groups in a sold-out game, they aren't going to get in. But at the new ground, they'll probably, let's be fair, there's probably going to be some bit more space.
Well, we have to pick and choose the opportunities. In previous seasons, it's been whenever we've played the likes of Accrington
Yes.
and half-term games, the kids for a quid, those sort of initiatives. It's very noticeable that we as a club haven't been able to advertise our tickets to bring in fresh supporters because we're so close to capacity already. And the limitations not only stretch to the attendance figures, but also to what we can offer on the match days. There is not sufficient capacity in the bars.
Yep.
We don't own the stadium anymore, so we're not going to invest greater. That's up to our successors here.
Yep.
But what we do need to do is plan that the match experience in the new stadium is as good as we can get it.
Sure. Okay. So I've got two questions about the Don's Trust now. Do you think the position of being on the Don's Trust board should be a fully paid, part-time or full-time position? Because we know the amount of hours that go into being a board member, you know only too well. So that's a bit of a loaded question, but what's your opinion?
My opinion is that it is firstly representative democracy. So we are there on behalf of the members.
Yep.
But then bringing our skills to bear